Good evening, everyone. I was just giving our fifth board member a few more minutes to log on. So we'll start in just a few more minutes. Thank you. All right, the time is 5:18. Mrs. Ship, may we please have a roll call for attendance, please?
Ms. Erica De La Rosa, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Present.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Here.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston.
Here.
Thank you. With the quorum present, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:18 p.m. I'll begin with our tribal land acknowledgement. In partnership with the tribes who called Phoenix their home first, we acknowledge and respect the land our schools are built on. We commit to being a strong partner with any and all tribal nations who entrust their children to our schools. We are grateful and honored to be partners. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to item A3, our adoption of the agenda. Do we have any recommendations for the agenda this evening, Dr. Gonzalez?
Madam President, the agenda as it is presented is recommended.
Madam President, may I make a motion?
Please.
I move that we amend the consent agenda and take out action item 3 for separate consideration and table for later consideration if possible.
Okay, would you like it discussed later at this meeting or a different meeting?
If possible, a different meeting, a later meeting. If not possible, then separate on its own at this meeting.
All right. Any recommendations, Dr. G? I was thinking we would pull it to discuss later on.
So item 3 is the renewal of the memorandum of understanding for Southwest Behavioral Health. We can discuss that as a separate item this evening, or if we would like to have it on a future agenda as a presentation and discussion, we can do that.
At the next
Whichever.
meeting? Right. Do you feel comfortable
Is it
with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
the latter?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Do we have a second to the motion to amend our agenda? I would also like to make an amendment. I wanted to pull item E3, no, I'm sorry, E4, to be on our next September meeting as well, just so we're a little we've got time to discuss it more with the board members, with our new board member, and that way be more prepared to discuss the content of it. So I move that we amend the agenda and pull items. Do I make a new motion? I believe I make another amendment to the first amendment.
You should probably choose go one amendment at a time so board members can vote on each amendment in the
Okay.
event that they don't all approve the
Okay,
change.
then I'll second the motion to amend the agenda and then we'll take a roll call vote on that.
And so to be clear, that's the motion to remove item 3 and bring it to the next board item, item
D3.
D3, to bring it to the next meeting with a presentation and discussion.
Perfect. Yes. And I'll second the motion. May we please have a roll call vote on that?
Dr. Alicia Vink,
No.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
No.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston,
Aye.
With that, our motion doesn't pass. Do we have a new motion that you'd like to
Yeah,
make?
may I make a further motion to move it for consideration later on the agenda today then, from the consent agenda?
I second the motion. May we please have a roll call on the amendment to move item D3 to item E1? Does that sound okay, the first one? Okay.
Dr. Alicia Vink,
No.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
No.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston,
Aye.
With that, our motion does not pass. Any action from Board Member De La Rosa, Randy? Yikes. Okay,
Can we make a motion to approve the agenda with out item, the one that you said? Which, I'm
E4.
scrolling, E4.
Okay, I move that we adopt the agenda without item E4. Do we have a second?
Alicia Vink, I second.
Thank you. May we please have a roll call vote?
Dr. Alicia Vink,
Yes.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Yes.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston,
Aye.
Thank you. With that, our motion passes and we will move forward with tonight's agenda as amended. Our next item up for approval is item A4, requesting approval of the minutes for July 8th. I move that we approve our minutes from July 8th. Do we have a motion? I'm sorry, do we have a second?
Alicia Vink, I second.
Thank you kindly.
Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Aye.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston,
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item B1, our current event summary, and the floor is yours, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, our cabinet members and community, I'm very pleased to be welcoming our new governing board member, Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston. This is her first governing board meeting as she was appointed by the superintendent Boggs recently, and we're very happy to have her here. She's already been reviewing the consent agenda and our policies, and we appreciate her commitment to our children, staff as a member of the Phoenix #1 governing board, children, families, and staff. At the same time, we have to say goodbye to Dr. Vink as she announced this is going to be her last board meeting as a member of our governing board. Dr. Vink, I know that your passion for teaching and for serving children and our families has always been present and is very much appreciated. Your service to our children and our families has made a difference, and we wish you the very best as you move to Washington. I know you're going to continue to serve and to continue to make a difference. We wish you the very best in this transition and know that you'll find continued success in Washington State. And now With these transitions, we're also very excited that tonight we get to celebrate some of our students and their teachers. Our governing board goal 3 is improving the number of students who have shown at least one level of growth in the it's called AZELA, the Arizona Assessment of it's the Arizona Assessment of English Language Learning. This year, we had 99 students who not only showed an increase in the level of proficiency, they actually reclassified in that assessment. Last year, we had 79. To reclassify, students have to demonstrate proficiency in reading, speaking, listening, and comprehending. And we are so proud of our students, their families, and their teachers. And so tonight we wanted to recognize some of our superstar students. We have a number of students who are not able to join us tonight, but we do have some students who showed not just one level of proficiency growth, they showed 3 levels. So going from the lowest level all the way through and reclassifying in one fell swoop. Those students, I want to read their names: Natalie Ramirez Lopez from Edison, Samantha Escar Corral at Whittier, but now she was tested at Emerson, and then Francia Del Valle Vasquez, who's at Edison now, and Natalie Alvarez, who's at Whittier. And we know that that work doesn't happen without outstanding support from families, but also from our teachers. And so we have our teachers that we want to recognize tonight. And these are teachers who had the greatest number of students growing in multiple levels of proficiency at their school sites. And so board members, if you'd like to come down, we'll welcome the teachers up, give them a certificate, and it's a great opportunity for a photo op. So our first teacher, oh, I guess I should go up and do this. Our first teacher is Margarita Herrera from Bethune Elementary. Photoshop or photo. Our next teacher is Angelica Gauna Francesca. Our next teacher is Ami Zucker. And she was not able to, she's not able to be here. And then Ana Alvarado Aguirre. And I'm looking through the crowd. And another one of our teachers who is not able to be here, Elena Tesolos. Congratulations to all of these teachers who are making an incredible difference for our children. Thank you so much. Madam President, that concludes my remarks this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Now is the time for item B2, our board member reports. My apologies. Who would like to go first this evening? Okay, which I feel like last might be, okay. I'll go briefly, just wanted to welcome Board Member Edmiston. We're super glad to welcome you to the team in support of Phoenix Elementary students, families, and educators. Your voice and leadership will help strengthen our our shared commitment to student success and our district community overall. We're really happy for you to be here. Thank you. Any board reports, Board Member Ovia?
I want to make a comment if that's cool.
Sure.
I just want to give a shout out to the comms team because I've been noticing on social media that we've been like up on it and revamping it. And I know we have a team now that's dedicated their time and energy to it. And, we're just keeping up with the times. And, I like the whole reading library thing that we did the other day. So much love and respect to our new team. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ovia. And I also wanted to say congratulations to all the students and teachers that just got awards. I'm sorry the few that weren't able to be here, but what an accomplishment. So I'm just definitely wanted to make that comment. Board Member Dr. Vink?
Last month, I announced tonight would be my last meeting as my family is moving. I wanted to take a moment to say goodbye to our families, staff, and community. Thank you for showing up for kids every day. I am grateful to have called Phoenix #1 home and to have been able to walk my son to his neighborhood school from kindergarten through 5th grade. It's been an incredible privilege to be a part of this community. As you all go forward in this next chapter, I hope you'll make brave choices, ask hard questions, and keep fighting for our kids. Fight for our immigrant students whose families are being stolen off the street. Fight for our kids whose neighborhood schools are being closed. And fight for all of our students to have access to excellent programming. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vink. Thank you for your service. Thanks for everything. It's been a long road. Yes, it's been a long road, and we wish you the best in your transition and your new life of peace and whatever Washington else may bring you. Wish you the best. Thank you. With that, we will move on to item C1, our community communications. Now's the time for public comments. Do we have any electronic comments this evening, Mrs. Shipp?
No, Madam President.
All right. I'd like to welcome Allison Golick to the podium, please. We'll just keep comments at 3 minutes this evening. Thank you very much.
I do know that there were public comments submitted in time, so I just want to address that right now. But this isn't about this. I just want to give a heartfelt thank you to Alicia Vink for all of her dedication to this board. Alicia, even when your voice was not heard by the rest of the district, even when you were silenced and misrepresented, and you continue to show up for our students and our educators. You asked hard questions, you challenged decisions, and you represented families who felt overlooked like mine. You were the voice for many of us who felt silenced and forgotten. You navigated turbulent times in the past 5 years with grace, integrity, and a relentless commitment to what is right. That courage matters, and I want you to know that it did not go unnoticed. You encouraged me and many others to stand up for our community, for our neighbors, for our friends, and our teachers in the face of unjust closures, discrimination, and mistreatment at the hands of this district. You showed up with us pleading with lawmakers to save our beloved Hurd School. You reminded us that advocacy is not about convenience, it's about conviction. Phoenix Elementary is losing not only a dedicated board member, but an incredible asset, ally, and friend to those that you served. Your work has left a lasting mark on this district. The students who needed you, whose needs you championed, the educators whose work you defended, and the families whose voices you amplified will carry forward the ripple effects of your leadership. We are better for your service and poorer for your departure. Alicia, you will be sorely missed, but your example will continue to fight on. This district didn't deserve you. And to Sue Ann, welcome to the board. It's chaos.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to our consent agenda.
Madam President, I am
Yes.
so sorry. I just saw there are some that are not
Okay.
in the right folder.
Okay, if you'd like to proceed, we'll just stick to the normal 3 minutes. How many do we have?
We have two.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Our first one is from Paul Booth. It says, I am writing this letter as another plea to the district and board to do the right thing and stop charging tuition for full-day pre-K for children with disabilities. These are only the children you actually receive funding for in order to provide developmental pre-K. This issue is personal to me as the father of a child with a visual impairment that is being charged prorated amount after FAPE for tuition this year to attend a nearly empty preschool program at Kenilworth this year in the district. When an IEP team determines that full-day program and placement is in the best interest of the child based on their actual needs, we should not allow there to be any financial barrier in their way. Not a DES copay, not a $225 after scholarship, not $442.50 after FAPE. This is the same district that found a way to quietly grandfather in approximately 60 families at Shaw Montessori to attend for free this year. If there are any children with disabilities at Shaw receiving free tuition, that is a disparity. If they're not, that is even worse and indicates segregation forms. They're disabled peers without access to free full-day pre-K this year. What about the half-day students at Faith North last year, including my child? Nobody thought they should get grandfathered in for this year, apparently, if they were able to attend a full-day pre-K this year at Kenilworth or Emerson. Since they won't let anyone into Shaw, even though they are not full and have an imaginary wait list. Why them and not us? Just because the district doesn't provide a full-day option at Faith North, which they should, there was also no board vote on the decision to charge tuition for preschool that I am aware of. Who is responsible for this decision? We were told by a member of the cabinet that if any point we can no longer afford tuition, they would simply uproot our child from the classroom and send them back to Faith North for half-day where it is free, regardless of individual needs. This leaving the class with only one or two would leave the class with only one or two children left in it. How cruel. Currently, it looks like these seats will sit empty all year, taught by certified teachers that they must pay anyway. All of this when we could allow children with disabilities get the services they need as their start of their educational journey in this district. All of this for a few $1,000s. I once again suggest you make it free for all 4-year-olds like it is at Shaw this year. At this point, you would at least enroll children who would be likely to stay at school or in district and be better prepared for academic success going forward. Again, you are paying the teachers anyway. Finally, if I still have time, I would like to take a moment to share my appreciation for outgoing board member Dr. Alicia Vink. This letter is to express my sincere gratitude for your dedicated service as a member of the Phoenix Elementary School Board. Your commitment, our students, parents, teachers, and community, and the betterment of our school is deeply appreciated, and you leave behind enormous shoes to fill. All the best to you and your family with your move. To Sue-Ann Edmiston, welcome to the board. Our last comment is from Angelica Luna. I am calling on the district for transparency and accountability regarding the incident that occurred at Shaw on Monday where 2 young children went missing 45 minutes prior or to dismissal and were found off campus 3 hours later. Fortunately, they were found seemingly unharmed physically. We need to know how this is possible and what steps have been taken to ensure this never happens again. Communication and procedures at the time the children went missing were severely lacking. Every second counts for safely locating missing children. Why wasn't the school locked down considering they went missing 45 minutes prior to dismissal? How long were the children missing before the parents and police were contacted? For parents to have peace of mind going forward, a full investigation must be conducted, and we need to know what will be done differently at Shaw and any other school in the district that may have similarly vulnerabilities going forward. I want to give my deepest thanks to Dr. Alicia Vink for the many wonderful years you have dedicated to the district. You gave so much of yourself to our schools, our families, and our children. Thank you for trying your hardest to bring us transparency, even when it wasn't easy, and for the standing firm when others pushed back. You gave our community something priceless, our voices, and the courage to use them. You believed in us when others wouldn't listen, and you showed us that we matter. Your impact will be felt for years to come, and we are forever grateful for your heart, your dedication, and your unwavering fight for what's right. That concludes her comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Ship. And thank you for the comment submissions and Mrs. Gullett for being here in person. With that, we'll move on to item D1, our consent agenda in general, items D1 through 10, D1 through D10. I move that we approve our consent agenda as presented. Do we have a second?
Alicia Vinker, second.
Thank you very much. Will we please have a roll call vote?
Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Aye.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston.
May I explain my vote?
Yes, please.
So I confess I don't like consent agendas for this reason. Most of these, I could definitely vote in support of, but I am really concerned about the item number 3. And also I realize I'm coming in, in an active conversation and trying to catch up on all of this, but I do still have 3 concerns on this one. And Superintendent Gonzalez did give me a lot of information and I appreciate that. But generally speaking, I'm concerned about the parental notification and I understand that it's happening, but because I'm new, I don't exactly understand how it's working. And that's something that's really important to me. I'm also concerned about a lack of a lease agreement. That struck me at the very first and it's stayed with me as I've continued to read more on this. And then the third is when I was trying to do some research to get more information, I found out that another local school district has both a memorandum of understanding and also an agreement. And of course, the agreement is legally binding and it had a lot more terms than this has in it. And again, I want to reiterate, I know I don't have the full history on here and I'm actively trying to get caught up, but with those concerns, I'm going to vote no, but I want to register that most of these I would be supporting. I just can't, I can't vote yes on this at this time.
Thank you very much. With that, our motion we still have one more vote to do?
No.
Or is everybody done? Okay, great. With that, our motion does pass and we'll move on to item E1, our governance information. This section of the agenda lists items that were already approved by the board regarding our goals, our guardrails, and our 5-year board monitoring calendar. And if we had that up, it would show August, and we are on schedule to discuss the superintendent guardrail number 5 this evening. So we'll move on to item E2, and the floor is yours, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. So tonight we're going to be looking at the guardrail number 5, which says the superintendent shall not allow the district to operate without implementing a community-focused plan to mitigate student enrollment barriers. And as you can see, enrollment barriers are something that we're constantly working to try to find how we can do a better job. And we do appreciate the input of community members who are offering their suggestions and looking forward to being able to work collaboratively on those. So this is the guardrail, and we proposed interim guardrails that were for 25-26. On the next page, we'll take a look at those. Interim guardrail 5.1 is actually working on a community plan to address those barriers that are being uncovered. Interim 5.2 is looking for equitable and efficient transportation to support students attending the neighborhood school that best meets their needs. And so as you heard in some of the community comments, that's something we need to continue to work on. And then interim guardrail 5.3 is the long-term partners who are providing a sliding fee schedule. Last year, you'll remember, this is particularly important for us given our budget and the constraints that we have from federal and state funding for preschool. Last year, we subsidized our preschool programs at a rate of, Mr. Whittle, can you remind me?
About $3 million.
$3 million we subsidized out of our M&O budget to cover the cost of preschool. With the partnerships that we're providing currently and the fees that we're charging, our district will only be subsidizing the preschool model at a rate of about,
We're looking between $400,000 and $500,000 is what we are still going to be subsidizing that. That's still a cost savings of about 2.6 million to the district.
so that's going to help explain a little bit about what's happening right now. We recognize that we still have a way to go, and that's why we have these interim guardrails so that we can be tracking this and showing progress toward meeting goals. So if we look at the next page, this is going to be an in-depth piece to really talk a little bit more about what we're doing in terms of uncovering the community barriers to enrollment and working with community groups. So one of the things that we're starting, this year we're working on community roundtables. And at those community roundtables, we're identifying who are community leaders who can help to be liaisons in the community with the district, but also making sure that we're taking time to sit with the community and ask these questions. One, understanding when you choose a school for your child, what are the most important factors for you? What are the things that when you've tried to enroll your child in a Phoenix #1 school, what were the main factors that influenced you positively to enroll or negatively to not enroll? We asked the parents then also, what is one thing you would like to change about the enrollment process? And what is one thing that you would like to see Phoenix One offer to families? Or not one thing, would you like to see us offer to families? The last two questions are open-ended. If you look at the next slide. We have these surveys available through our community roundtables, but we also want to have these available as a QR code that we will be able to offer to people in family and community engagement specialists as they meet with them at our front offices, but also working with our community relations team to make sure that at every turn when we're interacting with families or members of the community, they're able to give us this input. So the big thing that's going to be added this year is the face-to-face interactions at the round tables. These will, in addition to the survey, this is an opportunity with 3 questions to have families talk together with the district personnel present to listen to what their questions are and what their ideas are. But we want to find out from our families, when you look at a school, what do you consider a good school? How do you know if a school is good or not? The second question we want to ask is, in your opinion, what can the school and district do better to encourage you to be involved? We know that parent engagement is an important factor in student success. So we want to find ways to help our families and our community feel like they can be involved and welcome to participate. And then what questions or ideas do you have for the district? On the next slide, these are some of the groups that we've already been talking with and working to establish new roundtable partnerships with. We have one next week with the Marcos de Niza community, and we have another one coming up with our American Indian Family Advisory Group. You will start seeing these coming throughout as we continue to do these roundtables. Again, the idea is to have somebody that we identify through these roundtables who's willing to be a liaison. And on the next slide, Randy, you can see the stakeholder groups that we've identified. We want to have a community liaison who then works directly with us and with the governing board members to identify what are those challenges that they're facing and what are the opportunities that the district has to correct those challenges. We want these themes to become what help to dictate what our future actions are. So when we think about inputs, the community is going to give us the idea so that we can craft the right inputs to get the outcomes that we want in terms of family engagement. If you look at the next slide, this is where we talk about interim guardrail 5.2, which is the transportation barrier. Again, last year we had significant expenses in transportation, and with our budget situation, we recognized that we needed to get tight in terms of what we were offering our families, but we also we could be more efficient and give more options to families across the district. Last year, the guardrail was to conduct the transportation study. We had that conducted through the trust. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Whittle, who's been overseeing transportation and looking at how we can implement some of the recommendations from that study, transportation analysis. Mr. Whittle?
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, Madam President, members of the board. Transportation has been a key issue at this district. And what we're doing is we're taking what the study showed us last year and we're making implementations this year. So we're doing that through a performance system for punctuality. And what we were seeing is in the past, it was seniority. It was based on seniority. And when you have those seniority, those that are at the top of the seniority list are kind of, hey, I'm always going to have this spot, so I can just do, be mediocre work. And so we came up with this, hey, we need a performance-based system to where if you're here on time, you get a check mark, you get a star. If your bus routes are on time, you get a star. And what that does is now when we have field trips, we arrange the list to where people in the transportation department are wanting to be improve and wanting to have success, which then it goes on to our students and our families. So we are implementing that as safety training, attendance. We're talking about bus maintenance to give drivers opportunity, those prime routes. That's where we're talking about with the performance, how we're rating them, right? Not through seniority. Now, we just interviewed about eight staff members today that we're looking to bring on as sub drivers and sub bus attendants. And we're going to recommend to the board next governing board meeting that we do hire several of those as substitutes. So we're able to establish transportation and not have an impact. And then also not only that, but having the transportation stay in-house. We spent almost $750,000 last year on outsourcing our transportation. Prime example, we had a student that started this Monday and we outsourced it for one day. And it cost the district $144 to transport one student 3 miles in the morning, 3 miles in the afternoon, total of no more than 50 minutes. And it cost the district $144. So what are we doing? We're using our system more efficient to where our routing system and transportation to where we now have that student is being driven in-house and we're not outsourcing that. So we're having a cost savings. So not only are we doing that transportation, but our driver for that route is now doing actually 3 other routes. So we're maximizing productivity, and we're minimizing the cost of the district, which we're seeing a huge cost savings. Using the hub stops to reduce door-to-door pickups, that's improving our times. We are picking up about 25 to 30 students at the Hurd location and at the Dunbar location. Now we did see that there was a family that was outside of the, it was about a 0.8 miles, 0.8 of a mile outside of the hub. And we understood that and we accommodated to that family to put a bus stop closer to them, but we're still maximizing the route mileage. So it was an impact of 5 minutes to our transportation team. So we are looking at those one-offs. Being more consistent with our start and end times for all students to reduce the number of buses needed. Prime example today, we were looking at a route at one of our sites that had 3 routes, and utilizing the systems that we have and the functions we have. We had a school that had 3 routes. We were able to reduce that to 2 routes, which freed up a driver that we can now utilize somewhere else. And I just got a text message from the principal that said, oh my gosh, everybody got to school on time and everybody got home on time. So we're seeing that those are being more efficient, right? We're being more effective and we're saving the district money. Use of trained white fleet drivers. We go back to they used to be called 925 drivers, but our white fleet is our PESD white vehicles such as Silverados. The one thing we don't have is we do not have 9 to 15 passenger vans. That's one thing that this district does not have. And so what we're doing is we're utilizing those for the one-offs. If we have drivers like those sub drivers that we're going to be hiring, we can put those on a route and say, hey, we need you for an hour or two so that we can transport this kid to and from school. So we are utilizing that for our McKinney-Vento and our exceptional needs transportation instead of those contracted vendors. Like I said, we were spending about $750,000 last year. We're gonna scale that back. And if you go to the next slide, predicted cost savings from this is around 300,000. This is a very conservative number. I think it's much higher. But we don't know yet because we are still utilizing the system. So we are guesstimating that low. I think it's going to come in much higher. But throughout the study, we are hoping to have it done by May, completed, and then present it back to the board on the total cost savings. But I think we're on the right track here with the transportation.
A quick question, Mr. Whittle, as far as the savings are concerned, is that coming from the outsourcing or from different spots?
It's coming from the outsourcing. It's coming from utilizing our routing system, which is saving us on fuel, which is saving us on driver time. When me personally, I'm sitting down with our drivers and I'm saying, hey, what's the most efficient route that you're going? I'm a huge believer in the ones closest to the problem are closest to the solution. So I'm bringing in those actual drivers and we're sitting down and I'm asking them, hey, we're here. Where are you going? Are you going right? Are you going left? Oh, there's a train there. Oh, I go up this way because I don't want to get stopped by the train. So that's what we're doing is we're bringing those employees in, those staff members, and we're sitting down with them, trying to save as much money as we can.
Quick question. Have we changed, and actually remind me whether it's a law, the distance at which families like qualify for busing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, good question, Dr. Vink. So what is considered an eligible rider? An eligible rider is outside the boundaries of a mile. If you're outside the boundaries, you are considered an eligible rider and you're not in the walking radius of that. So what we're doing is we're taking that and we're putting more hub stops, right? Those hub stops to where we have three locations that have about 80 students combined on all 3 locations. So we're maximizing proficiency with those routes, and we're actually have an overfill bus that we are utilizing right now that's coming in right behind the initial bus, and it's picking up those kids and taking them to school.
Okay, so are you saying that we have 20, 25 kids at one hub stop then?
Yeah, and we have as many as 80 on
At one stop?
at one stop.
Oh, remind me what we're doing for that then. Who's there with them?
It's a great question. As a parent, yes. Our hub stop at Hurd and at Dunbar are manned with full-time employees. They're there morning and afternoon to help supervise students that are waiting for the bus. Students walk to the hub. There's an adult there. They wait for the bus. They board the bus, and then the adult leaves the campus.
Okay, where are we getting 80 kids at hub stops? Which,
Yeah, this is in Garfield. It's a 18th and Fillmore and
Okay.
18th and Garfield.
okay.
Yeah,
and
it's
then-
I believe it's a apartment complex right there.
Okay, and that one also is manned? They're all manned? Or,
No, that one is not manned.
That is not manned. That campus is right in the heart of the apartment complex and is not manned, is quite close to the school.
okay, but if we have 80 kids showing up there for a bus?
Oh, there are not 80, there are 20, 30, and 20.
Yeah.
30 at Hub,
So-
30
so-
at Hurd, 30 at Dunbar, 20 at that stop.
Okay, so is there a stop that has 80 kids showing up?
No, combined. We're talking about combined. Yeah,
Okay.
because we have like 18th and Fillmore, 14th and Fillmore, 15th and Garfield, and then 16th and Garfield. So it's all in one little area.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
And Dr. Vink, I can attest for each of the hub stops, parents are there in addition to the staff. It's a great opportunity to meet the parents and to spend time with them and also to spend time with the kids.
One of our hub stops has been manned by our illustrious superintendent for a good portion of the year. So it was fun. She and I started out. She was at Dunbar and I was at Hurd, just to make sure that students were supervised.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Now we can take a look. Oh, go ahead. I'm
Keep
sorry.
moving on to the next one. Okay, and then we'll do questions after that. Okay, thank you.
So for interim guardrail 5.3, this again is our long-term partners helping to provide that sliding fee schedule. And so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Sims, who has been working on this not only with preschool, but also on our after-school partnerships, which again are realizing significant savings to the district's M&O accounts because again, both after-school and preschool programming is not funded through state funds.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Madam President, members of the board, thank you for hearing me this evening. As you'll see in Guardrail 5.3, we were tasked by May of 2026 to secure long-term partners to provide a sliding fee schedule to help subsidize the cost that we went over earlier of the approximately $3 million cost for preschool that we were not reimbursed for. So I'm actually going to work on these bullets in reverse just to kind of remind everyone and get everyone up to speed as to why this was such a need for us. We heard strongly from the community input at the public meetings during school closure and Reimagine Phoenix, from staff specifically, the need for an extended day option for before and after school care for staff and families. That came through loud and clear. We also had significant community input from the public meetings and the Reimagine staff survey showing a really strong desire and from the Hurd community to keep a Head Start option available at the Hurd campus. And I'm happy to report that we were able to keep that in place. So families who meet the income requirements and live within the zip codes available are still able to attend Head Start at Hurd. The Head Start program and our renter are cohabitating there and getting along beautifully. So I want to give a shout out to the entire team who worked so hard over the summer to braid together all of the long-term partners that you see listed in bullet number 1. The Department of Economic Security, the YMCA, and Quality First just went above and beyond to help our staff understand all of the funding options that we had available to us. The community told us we want equitable, right? If we're able to pay, we're willing to pay. But if we're not able to pay, where do our students have opportunities to attend early learning opportunities? And so you can see in the next slide what all of our options are for 25-26 and exactly where they're located. So our Head Start programs are at Bethune, Edison, Lowell, and Hurd. Those are income-based and those are no cost to the family. We also have a no-cost half-day option at Faith North. We realized a savings with our school consolidations that allowed us to open 2 more sessions of half-day programs at Faith North. Those are specific for district residents and also house our developmental program at Faith North. We have a half-day option tuition-based at Shaw in our Montessori program for $500 per month. And then our full-day tuition-based programming at Kenilworth, Emerson, and Shaw Montessori for $750 per month. I do specifically want to address the fact that Phoenix Elementary requires a certified teacher in each of our preschool program options. That is something that you will not find out in the community from other providers that are offering preschool or early learning opportunities. That's something that we pride ourselves on, and they are all highly qualified certified teachers in those programs. What we also learned from the community that was super important along with early learning options were before and after school programming options. And we worked tirelessly on this to make sure that we came up again with options that were available to all families. There is a menu of services here. Along with the preschool options, there are some braided funding opportunities that allow these options to be more affordable for families. We have a partnership with the YMCA for before and after school care. There's after school care at most sites, before school care at selected sites that have some of those later start times. We understand that families need to get to work, and so some of those campuses offer opportunities where students can be supervised by Y staff until the campus actually opens for breakfast. We have a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. We are very fortunate to have two club branches within our district boundaries, the IG Homes at 16th Avenue in Sherman, and then we have the Warner and Shirley Gable branch at 15th Street and Brill. And both YMCA and Boys and Girls Club offer scholarships. It was important to us that families had options as to what they wanted to access, but then to also have scholarship opportunities. Those were out of reach. So we have those two. We also have a wonderful partnership with G Road. They're on site at Emerson. They're servicing Emerson and Whittier students, and G Road is able to provide those services at no cost to families. Y Academy at Monterey Park is a DES eligible program that extends the day for our early learners. It is also a DES eligible program. So families are able to access our no costs program at Faith North, for example, and then transition to Monterey Park to have a full day of services for their early learners, along with transportation provided by PESD. And then the last piece of before and after school programming that we like to braid in with our other options is our 21st Century. And we are grateful to our federal programs team who has written those grants and secured those grant opportunities for us at Capital, Edison, Emerson, Herrera, and Lowell. And those grants are approximately $100,000 per site, and programming runs there 4 days a week. Thank you.
Are there other questions?
Do you have any more? I would like a little more information on the Y Academy, just to understand the transportation to and fro and the population served. I was writing something down. I didn't fully catch it.
Sorry if I went
Apologies.
too fast, President Trujillo. The Y Academy at Monterey Park is an early learning option. There are actually two programs running there. There's a childcare option, which is available to children 6 weeks to kindergarten age. And then there's an after-school program that's available there. And so students are able to, like I said, access the half-day program at either Shaw or Faith North. And they board our transportation. They're taken to Monterey Park. They're received by Y Academy staff, and then parents pick up from there in the evening. And that is a fee for service at Monterey Park. We do offer a discount for staff who choose to have that option for their children. It was a perk that came about after Reimagine.
Oh, right. So these partners are being worked on right now and ready to, I'm sorry, like.
This is happening right now. All of the programs listed in these bullets, children have been accessing since day one of school.
Got it. I'm just trying to understand the time frame on our guardrail as far as the
Oh, thank you for.
beginning and ending of it, just so the timeline makes sense to me. Can
That
you
is a
touch
great
on that
point.
a
And I
little bit?
did want to bring up the second piece of interim guardrail 5.3 is that we will have an option similar to these before and after school programs for our sports program. And so that's what's in process for the remainder of 25-26. And Mr. Johnson in the sports department and myself are working on that already.
And President Trujillo, to help with the timeline, this became very urgent as we looked at the closing of the two schools and recognizing that there were, and we kept hearing from the community how important before and after school was and how important preschool options were. Also recognizing the budget deficit that we were facing last year, we knew we had to act quickly. So our systems right now are imperfect, but we have systems that are helping to support families. Part of the guardrail this year is let's get those systems tightened up. Let's make sure people understand how to access them and to ensure that these are the quality programs that we know they are. How are we getting people into them? How are we supporting people through that? And again, going back to Mr. Booth's comments, there are kinks that need to be worked out, and clearly there are miscommunications about what's being offered that we need to be able to address.
Thank you. That's, I guess, my concern, wanting to understand like everything to fit in those pieces, so that way I know what we're on top of and then what's included in the future items with our deadline of May 2026.
These were all intended to be May 2026, but given the urgency we started implementing more quickly. And so we're going to continue to work on implementing and refining throughout the year.
I've got a quick question. As far as Shaw, the 3-year-olds, was it always a tuition there or was that not a thing?
Shaw was a half-day program before for 3-year-olds, and then they transitioned into the full day the next year. Since that's a rollover program and students who were in the program last year didn't know that they were going to have to pay the next year, working with the principal, we agreed to give a grandfather clause to those families who had already been enrolled so that they could continue the next year, continuing the program for their children. But after this, all the programming at Shaw will be fee-for-service programming.
And then, so for the full day, what, is that all grades? Is that like, what grades are those?
At Shaw,
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the full day at these. Is it for 4-year-olds?
full day is for 4-year-olds,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, the fee for Shaw Montessori is just for the preschool program. There is no fee associated with the kindergarten through 8th grade program. I wasn't sure if that was clear. Okay, just making sure.
I have a few more questions. As far as the instrument, the first instrument mentioned, the community survey, have those been already? First, I'm wondering who the target audience is, which schools, all the schools, and if they've been implemented already, or if this is something, again, that's futuristic.
That is something that we are rolling out in the next week. So we'll start with our roundtables, and then we will also have the QR code with the questions at all of the sites, as well as at our front offices here, so that when people interact, they have an opportunity to rate us. How did we do?
And may I hear a little more about the roundtables, the agenda, and yeah, I guess getting people there, what does that look like?
So that's part of the work with the different community groups. So in the case of some of these are groups that are already existing, so it's a ready audience. We just want to make sure that the audience grows as we begin to do this. But for example, with the Marcos de Niza, we're working closely with the City of Phoenix's Choice Neighborhood Program in the Marcos de Niza area. That's right next door to Lowell. So they are helping us advertise. We have flyers that are up around the school. They're also being sent to families in Class Dojo, but we recognize that that only captures our families. So in partnership with the City of Phoenix, they're reaching out to all of their different communities through iWork, through Choice Neighborhood Programs, and then through the Housing Project to get families who may not be attending our schools or community members who live there who may not have children but want to know about the school and want to know how to get involved. So they're helping get word out to all of these people. We are offering refreshments, and I purchased some gift cards to be able to raffle off to parents. I did not use district money for this because we can't buy gift cards. I don't want to get in purchasing jail. So I purchased some gift cards to be able to raffle off to families at those events.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm excited to hear about the raffle. I guess my question should have been, are these already community organization meetings that are already scheduled and we're kind of attending their stuff, or is this?
We're building it with the community
Okay.
partners.
Got it. Do we have the date for the Marcos de Niza one? I haven't looked at social media. My apologies. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not on. Next Thursday morning from 9 to 10:30, and then a second session repeating the exact same information in the afternoon from 4 until 5:30. And like we said, refreshments, you're welcome to bring your children if you'd like. We won't have actual childcare, but someone will be there to help keep kiddos entertained.
So,
The Lowell Media Center.
so Allo.
Will those all be added to the board calendar?
You
Thank
can
you.
add them for sure.
Wonderful. I think those were my main questions. Just wondering about the instruments, dates, things like that. So when we vote on this item, are we approving? So we're approving the plan. This is since, again, it feels futuristic and not necessarily stuff that's going on. So I guess it's actually Mhm. Please let me know if I'm understanding this right. Well, when we approve this, is it approving the interim guardrails and this plan going forward?
So this is similar to the way that we have our interim goals. What you're approving is that we're going in the right direction with this guardrail. With the activities that we've presented to you, you're voting to say, yes, you're headed in the right direction. Keep moving in this direction. At the end of the year, we'll have another, remember, we present on our guardrails twice every year, calendar year, fiscal year. So when we vote again in the end, it's yes, you met the goals and objectives that were presented in this guardrail.
Thank you.
President Trujillo, if I may, these would be considered inputs if you want to go back to the manual. These are the inputs that are helping us be predictive of what will be happening in the guardrails to meet the goal.
I guess, yes, so I think I was looking for more outputs to kind of decide if we're on track. So that's where my, not even confusion. I just wanted to put everything in its box in my mind.
So in terms of outputs, the things that we will look for is to see that we have actually uncovered barriers to enrollment and we have a plan to address those. And that we have equitable and efficient transportation so that students are able to go to the schools that they choose. And that we have secured long-term partners with a full sliding fee schedule to support families at their different economic levels.
May I ask if we've got, how many bus driver positions we have vacant right now?
We have one
Oh, nice. That's
That-
great to hear. Thank you
that
very
we are
much.
offering a position here soon, hopefully.
Okay, good to hear. I think that's all my questions. Anybody else have questions?
I have a
Go for it.
comment. Without all these input, output conversation, like I tell you right off the jump, like serving the families is like super important. I love that we're figuring out what the barriers are, if any, and really building with our families, getting volunteers hopefully involved at some of these events. So I think, just right off the cuff, I'm like, this is awesome and good work to everybody that's doing it. And I will do my best to try to show up as well.
Thank you very much. With that, I'll move that we approve our guardrails monitoring report. I'm sorry, Superintendent Guardrail number 5's monitoring report. Do we have a second? I was asking if we had a second to, I moved to approve this guardrail monitoring report. So I was looking for a second.
This is Erica and I second.
Thank you kindly. May we please have a roll call vote, or unless there's more questions, my apologies. Sweet. May we please have a roll call vote?
Dr. Alicia Vink,
No.
President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Yes.
Ms. Sue Ann Edmiston.
May I explain my vote?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think conceptually, I actually have concerns about the concept of a guardrail. But I also understand that I'm, again, coming into this conversation late and it has been going on for a while. So I think the best thing for me to do tonight is to abstain.
With that, I believe our motion passes with the plurality of 2-1. And with that, we'll move on to item E3, discussion on our board itself, guardrail number 5, which is in place. So board members are mindful to stay focused on things that are, I guess I should read it out loud, the actual guardrail. Board guardrail number 5 is attaining the board's student outcome goals. The board shall not focus on inputs and outputs at the expense of student outcomes. So my understanding of that is that we aren't spending more time focused on decisions that are already pretty much delegated to Dr. Gonzalez, and we remain focused at least 50% of the time on our student achievement outputs. And I want to say as early as May, we were very close to 50, a little over 50%, as far as time spent on our student achievement outcomes. So I would say we're close to meeting it. Does anyone else have questions or thoughts on whether or not each of us are focusing on inputs and outputs at the expense of student outcomes? Hearing none, we can move on to item F1. Do we have any requests for future agenda items?
Yes, I do. If that's okay.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's see, I would like to request the district follow up with sites and confirm that they're aware or they're following the recess policies, procedures around withholding resource as a consequence. So I want to know about that. And then I'm curious, since we're doing some of the surveying with the families around enrollment, I'm curious on exit interviews with families that didn't return. If any families were interviewed during a withdrawal process or a 10-day drop, making sure that we're contacting them. And then I don't know if we followed up around like the expulsions and, that type of stuff. So just want to make sure that we're doing that. So thank you.
My apologies. Any others? Thank you.
May I ask? I wasn't planning to ask for this, but since it was brought up before, if it would be possible to do a presentation on the Southwest Behavioral Health Services and the operation, that would be wonderful.
Hearing no further agenda items, we'll move on to item G1, our adjournment. I move that we adjourn this evening at 6:24 p.m. Do we have a second?
Alicia Fink, I second.
Roll
Your
call for
last
Dr. Alicia Vink.
Yes.
For President Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
Aye.
Ms. Sue-Ann Edmiston.
Aye.
With that, our motion passes and we are officially adjourned this evening at 6:24 p.m. Our next meeting will be here in the governing board, September 11th which is also a Thursday at 5:15 p.m. Thank you.